name's Mary. I'm here for two reasons tonight, and this is really high. Okay. I'm here for two reasons tonight. The first reason is to conquer my fear of public speaking, which is why I have these handy little cards, and hopefully they won't fall out of my hands. I'm just waiting for my Xanax to kick in any second. Alright, it's better now. And the second reason is to share with you my new book, Nicknames, Tales from the Shallow End of the Manhattan Dating Pool. That's me, and that's my dog, Valentino. So, I've been on a million first dates. I am a self-reformed serial dater. And my story starts 13 years ago at the ripe old age of 20 years old. There was this new thing at the time, well, fairly new thing at the time, called online dating. And I logged on, and I met Barack. And 5 months after dating, probably due to all the hormones jumping around our bodies, we decided to elope at City Hall. And then after City Hall, we went to Turkey, and we had a big, beautiful, my Greek fat Turkish wedding in Istanbul. That's me signing my life away into a big book that legally made us Turkish man and wife. At least I think that's what it was. Someone was on hand to do a lot of the English to Turkish, Turkish to English translating. And I know that picture's really blurry. I just dug it out of my closet. It's been in there for about 10 years. And that's me, the skinniest I've ever been in my entire life. Probably because I wasn't allowed to eat at my own wedding. That's why I was so skinny. So back in the States, things started to go downhill. My knight in shining armor started to treat me like a piece of furniture. And after 5 years of spending my early 20s married and being treated like a step stool, I told Barack to pack his shit and get out. And he did. $900 later, we were divorced by a lawyer we shared on Queens Boulevard. I got custody of the cat, I sold my little silver Saturn, and I moved into Manhattan. And that's when my dating adventures really began. I've been on a lot of sites. I couldn't fit them all on the slide. I only have 10 minutes to be up here. So, you name it. Tinder, How About We, Match, OkCupid, JDate, my neighbor Jacqueline signed me up for. I didn't even have a picture up. I'm not even Jewish, and guys were emailing me left and right. VIP Life is an old-fashioned matchmaking service, but everybody they wanted to introduce me to was about 90 years old, and I get enough of hanging out with 90-year-olds at work, so I just couldn't do that. So it started out, this mic is weird. It started out with 1 first date per week, then 2 first dates per week, and then 3 first dates per week. I totally got sucked into this online dating vortex. And after many dates, I would come home a little tipsy, usually after a martini or 2 or 3. I do like my martinis with blue cheese stuffed olives, so if anyone wants to take me on a date after, you can take me to a nice martini bar. And I would write about the unbelievable events that happened that night. I couldn't make this shit up. I have been out with so many weirdos, crazies, guys I was afraid was going to chop me up and leave me on the sidewalk somewhere. I had to document this shit or no one was going to believe me. So after a few years of dating, I had a whole, I'm gonna curse, sorry. I had a whole fucking binder full of poems, emails, text messages, stories, nicknames of guys I'd been on dates with. Now, I don't purposely go out to nickname a guy. Usually when I start talking to my friends and I tell them about my dates, when I start to refer to my date by a name other than the name they were given at birth, that's how I know it's never gonna form into a relationship. It's not about being mean, it's just bizarre, it's just kind of what happens in my life. So I'm sure a few of you guys have nicknames out there too for some people you've dated. And I'm convinced the guy I don't nickname will be the one I end up marrying. A couple of years ago, I was catching some rays in Long Beach, escaping the hot, sticky summer in the city, and my friend Zoe suggested that I write a book about my dates. So I did, and Nicknames was born. And I'm going to share a few stories with you right now, and I hope you learn something. I hope you can laugh, or if I just get a smile out of you, I'll be very happy. And, okay. Oh, that's my dog, Valentino. I couldn't come up here and talk tonight without at least sliding in a picture of Val. He's the only man in my life who gives me unconditional love. He never talks back, and he's always happy to see me. And I just got this new tag for him. It doesn't really work so well in Hell's Kitchen, but it is what it is. And I'll do some readings for you. Okay, I hope you're ready. The first reading is from the chapter, Seeing the Sights. And I call this guy Tinder Ezra. Ezra was 36, Jewish, and the head of some mobile app company. He was also a complete tool. I met him at a local bar in my hood at what he called the Tinder table. He had a very dry sense of humor. Unfortunately, I did not find anything he said remotely humorous. He even made the poor waitress feel uncomfortable. He also kept checking his phone for work messages, which is one of my biggest pet peeves. Maybe he was just a little nervous because in the 2 hours we spent at the bar, he chugged down about 6 drinks. During that time, I learned that he's willing to marry a non-Jewish girl and give her a Christmas tree, but he must raise all of his children Jewish. Oh, and that he's been circumcised. Just what I need to know on a first date. I also got the impression I felt like I was used goods or something because I'm divorced. When I told him my ex was Turkish, his biggest concern was his idea that Turkish men are all hairy. As the night progressed, he might be true on that. As the night progressed, things got stranger. He told me the muddled cherry in my drink looked like a vagina. Okay. Then he compared his penis to a cherry stem. And this is real, I'm not making this up. I guess he had some weird sexual obsessions with cherries, and I'm not planning a second date to find out why. There's more. It gets better. So this reading is from the chapter One Date Wonders. And the name of this guy is Gelato. That's Gelato. Okay. So I'm going to be playing both roles. Gelato. Zap, that nasty little bastard cherub from OkCupid hit me with another one of his poisonous arrows. But he looked so innocent and inviting on his webpage. The only good thing about my experience with Gelato was that he ended up being a one-date wonder. Had he not, my apartment may have become a crime scene. I met Gelato at a little place by the same name near Central Park. His opening remarks sounded compelling enough. He was a professional athlete who went back to New York to care for a sick family friend. He was a bit loud and brash, but claimed it was just his style to speak his mind and keep it real, you know? Anyway, the beginning and end of our short little tale goes like this. During the consumption of our refreshing gelato and the ensuing walk, we talked about everything from cooking to traveling and more. Because we seemed to have some chemistry, I broke my own rule and I invited him over to my apartment a few days later for dinner. The text exchange that follows ensured that second date never happened. Just bring yourself and a bottle of something if you want. Do I need condoms? No, this is a friendly dinner, by the way. Are you serious about that comment? So we hanging out? I thought that was the plan. So what do I bring? I said a bottle of something. Look, do you want to hang out? Do I get a lap dance? I'll pole dance. I'm clearly joking when I told him I was pole dancing. But I said I would pole dance. What else? Do I need condoms? No. Why, you don't use them? We're not having sex. You sure? I want to be ready just in case. And there's a lot of other texts, but it just goes too long, so I'll kind of cut this short. Oh man, you're so serious. Sorry, I don't think we mix well. Okay then, that's fine. Wish I would have known before I started preparing everything. You seem serious. Are you wearing panties tonight? Maybe you're right. Maybe we don't mix well. I stopped cooking. I'm going out now. Good luck.
Lights out for gelato.
Oh, no, but I have one more slide. Okay, anyway. In the end, I happily shared my feast with my girl Jacqueline, sitting over there, and her boyfriend from down the block. They were much better dinner companions, and as far as I know, neither of them brought condoms. reading before we get into questions and answers. And this is from chapter 10, Vanishing Acts. And I know if you've ever dated in a big city, we all have some vanishing acts. Vanishing acts are kind of the opposite of one-date wonders. They're the guys you think you're going to have a second or first or third or whatever date with. You think you have chemistry. You think all the nice things they're saying are true. And then they just fucking disappear. Poof. Every woman who's ever dated in her life has probably encountered at least one vanishing act in one form or another. It happens more often than that in New York, probably because there are so many people living in this city. A good guy might have several options to consider. He might have an amazing chemistry with girl 1, but wonder what might happen with girl 2, so he vanishes on girl 1, moves on to girl 2, until girl 3 comes along, and it's a dizzying cycle. Here's one of my most memorable mystery men. And I call this guy Apollo. I don't know why I named him Apollo, but if I think of it, I'll let you know later. Apollo is a rarity in my life, an actual flesh and blood male whom I met in real life and not online. My girlfriends and I stumbled into a bar after going into a seedy sex shop on 8th Avenue for shits and giggles. We all squeezed into one of those porno booths. It was a little crazy and promptly got kicked out because apparently only one pervert is allowed in the booth at one time. And that was before we started drinking. So we were still laughing our heads off when we walked into the bar next door and I met Apollo. We started chatting it up and we discovered we're actually neighbors. He only lives 1 block away from me, which I thought was pretty damn convenient. I was leaving for my vacation in Australia in a week, and Apollo said he wanted to take me out to dinner when I got back. He also said I was unlike other girls, beautiful, and had a good head on my shoulders. And he posed the age-old question, why are you still single? So many of the guys I meet ask this particular question. I never know when it's heartfelt or a bunch of bullshit, so I usually don't get my hopes up. Still, it certainly sounded like he was interested. However, it's been months, actually it's been 2 years, since I've returned from the land down under, and unless a miracle occurs while this book is being printed, I still haven't gotten that dinner date. All I've gotten are a bunch of lame texts, including the hope you had fun he sent when I let him know I was back in town, and the occasional 3 a.m. drunk text asking, what's up? Delete. So, that's all I have to say, and I'm going to be giving out 3 books to 3 lucky people who want to share their most memorable or worst date tonight.